I'll go ahead and get this. I'll go ahead and get this cyber party started. Those of you that joined me, thank you for joining. This was a program that I attended last summer at the University of Nevada, Reno, and it was one of the most wonderful professional experiences I've ever had. Of course, this is a little college bum talking too, so I like going back to the university. But the wonderful thing about the program is not only is it a wonderful professional experience to increase your skill set in computer science and research in that in general, it's also worth $10,000 grant for yourself. So how it works is that you would give up 6 weeks of your summer, and it was pretty chill. It was about a 6-hour day, Monday through Friday, with an hour lunch. Very flexible schedule too. So if you needed to work from home or something like that, they were really cool about that. Also, so that makes it $1,000 a week during the summer, and then you're given another $2,000 during the school year. So the next school year, you will present a lesson that you've designed during your research experience. And then that's $1,000. And then you get a $500 stipend for each meeting that you have. And it was $500 for like 2.5 hours. It was awesome. Then you get an additional $2,000 credit through Amazon and through Best Buy and that sort of thing to buy stuff for your classroom. So it's really awesome. It's called the University. Let me get rid of this thing here. If you could see my page here, I've got a website that I built to honor this program. And if you look here, it's actually called the Research Experience for Teachers in Cybersecurity. The current grant that I'm in, it's a 6-year cycle. I believe this is the second cycle they've had, so it's been going on for about a dozen years. They're trying to renew the grant for an additional cycle, and they're very confident that it's going to happen. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to present this, to get interest, because of course it's kind of hard to have a program if nobody's interested. So I'm hoping this will be a little bit of exposure. So please tell your friends. It's a very good chance that you'll get in, because I don't see a lot of people on this site right now. So those that are here with me today, if you're interested this summer, I'll let you know as soon as it's open, and this website here will also let you know. Unfortunately, it's still set for the last year, but as soon as they get the grant approved and cycled, they'll go ahead and do that for us. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me click on the site. Everybody hopefully can see my shared screen. So this is my website. I'll put it in the chat after I go through this, the web link, so you can view it at your leisure. But I'm just going to give you kind of a quick rundown. So here's the UNR Research Experience for Teachers site. Apologize, the site's a little bit discombobulated, so it's not the easiest one to navigate through. Hopefully they'll update that when they get the new grant going. So this is just kind of what the rundown I just told you about, the total grant, how long it is, how much you get, that sort of thing. And it would start in, if they get it restarted, it would probably start in May, like it did for me last year. And again, I'm very confident, they're very confident they'll get it renewed. It's just a matter of timing. So let me look here. We've got the posters here. 2022 is my cycle. So this is all the participants that we had. There's my name, Robert Riley. And then there's Sherry Kelly and Daniel Ingram. There were 3 research groups in cybersecurity. We did biometrics, which was my group, the 3 names I just mentioned. And then Frankie Clark and Jennifer did the Smart City, which was an interesting one. Frankie is really hardcore into networking. So he actually shared a lot of information with us about Cisco networking and that sort of thing. So that was interesting with the Smart City. And then the other names up there did forensics, which was a very interesting group where they did digital forensics, where you actually go through and hack files and figure out missing data and that sort of thing on a blank hard drive and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to go through those really fast, just to give you kind of a rundown. So this was mine. So you put together a poster just like this to kind of showcase what you've done during the summer research program. So you start off the first week or so as kind of orientation. You get kind of an idea what all 3 groups are going to be doing. So at least, you know, you get selected into a group, you at least know what all the others are doing in a general sense. So kind of introduction to cybersecurity, what it is, that sort of thing, the first week, and then the 3 research groups, what they'll be doing. And then the next week, you actually start your research in a lab. I worked under Nate Tom, who's a PhD candidate working on a new biometric system using the iris of the eye as a way to identify people. And about the second to last week, the 5th week or so, this is when you build your poster. And then I'll show you my lesson plan that I did. So it's almost like another poster, but it's your lesson plan. And you do get $1,000 for that if you submit a lesson plan to the National Science Foundation. And that's kind of the hard piece, I guess. Everything was actually pretty, they're really helpful, and they make it very easy for you to understand technology, no matter what your background, if you're industry standard. I'm just a teacher that got a computer science endorsement. I'm not a CTE teacher like some of them were. So they were, yeah, I had an introductory course in Python, so this kind of expanded my skill set a little bit, but they went slowly. And one of the other teachers was less fluent in Python than I was, and she got up to speed. And then we had another teacher there that was actually had done it for a while back, but then forgot some because he hadn't done it for a while, that sort of thing. So it was a very wonderful experience. So that's that there. Go back to the page here. This thing is in the way. Let me get this. There we go. Okay, so that's the posters there. So this was Miss Kelly's. So they're all very similar, talking about the biometrics. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that, because if you're interested, I'll let you kind of explore that on your own, because I'm kind of excited to show you the program that I built over the summer. So that's her poster, just to kind of give you a rundown of that. And sorry, my thing is in the way there. That's why I have to keep minimizing my page. Let's see, Daniel. And his poster is very similar. I don't know why his is so small. He must have put it on there really small. No, somehow this got tweaked. Okay. So all very, very similar. So we actually we started with the same application, and then when we finally came up with the final iteration of our biometric program, it actually came out to be a little bit different, but they're all fundamentally the same. The script is pretty similar. We just kind of tweaked and make them a little bit different just to be fun. And let me go back to the main page here. And let's see here. Let's go to my lesson plan here. This is the big thing that this is your biggest responsibility if you're interested in this program, is making the lesson plan. So what I did here is, after learning a little bit about cyber security, we started the research project. And then about midway through, we had to start building our lesson plan. And so mine starts with an introduction. So it's a lot like my poster. And I start with an introduction, and then I have essential questions. Why is security essential? What is cybersecurity? What is biometrics, for example? What is better security, password protection, or biometric input of some kind, or both? As a computer science teacher at O'Brien Middle School, it's kind of frustrating with the passwords. I mean, the kids finally remember them, but a biometric piece would be a lot more convenient than having to deal with passwords all the time. What is a high-level programming language, and what is machine learning? So essentially what I did is I built a application in Python, which I'll show you in a few moments, and then we connect it to an actual machine learning program, which is a neural network program that's been programmed in Python as well. I didn't program that piece. Our wonderful Nate Tom, the PhD candidate who was studying biometrics with Python, took a version of that and tweaked it for us. And then, but we all wrote our own application of the viewer, which you will see. That part is what we programmed. Learning objective: the students will be expected to use their working knowledge of Python to add another function. So I'll give them like a rudimentary version of my viewer, which I'll show you, and then they'll write a function for it to make it do something else. So that's kind of the piece there. The computer science standards that I believe I'll cover with it are in detail here. in the middle section. Prerequisites, my students are actually currently learning Python right now through Code High School. They did the turtle programming first, and now they're actually doing console programming, which will give them hopefully enough background to, write a definition. One of the frustrations that I do have is that for security purposes in the Washoe County School District, they've disabled the terminal. And unfortunately, the IDE that I'm using requires the terminal. So I've got to figure out a workaround to have students be able to program that. So I'm currently working on that issue right now. Instructional summary, students will be expected to have basic understanding of programming, particularly understanding of Python programming language. And then I've got the engineering category, which is part of the National Science Foundation's piece there of how does it kind of relate to STEM and that sort of thing. And then the assessment will be the actual definition that they write. We'll put it in the viewer, their version of the viewer, and test it out if I can get the workaround to work. Okay, so that is that in a nutshell. And let me go over to my application. And then hopefully you all can see that. So this is the viewer that I programmed. And it's a GUI, so there's an actual piece there that is a little more complicated than console programming. We had to use PySimple GUI in order to have all the GUI functions like a form, like you would like in Visual Basic or Visual C++ or something like that, or Visual Java even. So I simply click Browse. It takes me to a file structure. And I go to my pictures. And this is one of our gentlemen that is part of the program. So I put his image in there and I load image that shows there. Then it goes, when I verify the image, it will actually run through and see if it recognizes it as true or false. So it's a Boolean, get true or false, whether it recognizes that as a face. It's facial recognition technology back there. And then I can save the picture if I want it, because I have certain distorts here. I can resize, I can blur. So now if I go back to verify, I'll see if it's just one blur, it causes false, it can't recognize it. And we believe that the biometric software actually focuses on the eyes, is what we think how it exactly works. And then I can reload the image to reset it. And then I can color it, see if it still recognizes it. It says true. And then I can grayscale it. I can change perspective. I'll verify that. It doesn't recognize it at that point. Invert, verify, and it doesn't understand that either. But then I can reload. And then I could test a second image. So if I go lower browse, and right here, I've got a file recognition. I need to go to all files because this is a different format. It's not a PNG, it's a JPEG. And let's do Carl Urban there, the guy from The Boys. And we'll load that image and verify that it recognizes it as true. Recognize it as a face. Bring this up here. Hopefully everybody can see that fine. And then let me do some changes there. Color it, verify. It says it's true. If I blur it, verify. Still recognizes it. Let me blur it one more time. Blur it even more. Still recognizes it. So the resolution does have an effect, we decided, on how well it can recognize it. So I did like 3 blurs before it didn't recognize it. And then the one I added to my program, I don't know if the other 2 did that. I did a doppelganger. So if I reload the image, so they're clear, I can click on doppelganger and see if it thinks they're the same person. So it thinks Dr. File Cipher is Carl Urban. Because I thought he was a dead ringer for Carl Urban, and it looks like the biometric program agrees with me. Thinks that he's the co-host for the grant that we're trying to get renewed here for the research project. So let's try another one. This is kind of fun. The kids will love this part. Trying out the images. Go to all files, Let's check out Chris Pine. We'll load him in there. Obviously, they're not doppelgangers, Carl Urban and Chris Pine. And let's go with another one here, browse. We'll go all files. And we'll take old William Shatner there when he was about the same age and load him. And let's see if they're doppelgangers. And it thinks that Chris Pine and William Shatner are doppelgangers. So I guess that was good casting on that part, Paramount. And then you can blur it and do all these other effects. And you could actually, we added a feature where you could save it. So if you tweaked an image, you could save the image. So I think the kids will probably think this is pretty cool if I can get it working on their computers. So that's my program in a nutshell. I don't have access to the others, but they were all very similar, except I don't think they put a doppelganger on theirs. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure I better check the time. Looks like I'm doing pretty good on time. If I go here, these are our notes. So it's an actual research, no kidding, university research project. So you're in there with PhD candidates and professors all day long in their labs. So it's a real professional experience. So being a teacher like myself with no industry experience, it's kind of fun to have this experience. So these are, we just did it just like old school science. We put notes down of what we wanted to do, what features we wanted the application to have, how we wanted to load. So the thing is, when you're having an image, you have to have it loaded in a certain way, in a certain file format with a certain resolution. And this is what this software piece has, this function that we added to it. So it'll import functions too. So we'll go with, it'll import the biometric program into the application along with image loaders and image resolution modifiers and that sort of thing. So, and it kind of shows it here. So we have how we want to have it blur, how we have it wanted to change colors and that sort of thing. So these are just rough notes that we wrote down on the board. This is how the biometric piece works. It's actual a neural network. Neural networks have been around since the early 80s. And they've gotten a little more refined over the last few decades. So this is just kind of, I don't understand all this, but but the PhD candidate does, and that's what he's working on. He's working on his own biometric software. And then this is actually the how it essentially learns, the neural network of how it actually learns from the faces. It learns how to recognize them. Okay, so let's go back to, that's the notes. Let's see. Are there any questions? Does anyone have any questions so far before I continue? No questions? Okay, I will be done actually shortly. I want to give you some time before, I think we go to 10:15. So I do want to give you some time before we go on to the next room to hopefully navigate the website and so you can get more detail on how it works. So you don't have to listen to me drone on for the whole time. Let's see, so I'm going to go back to, oh, I forgot this important site here. This is one of my actual proposed workarounds. Unfortunately, my school district doesn't really allow this use of this at the middle school level. So I'll probably have to use my account and then have students load their program, and there will be the worst case scenario if I can't get it to work, because that's the only real big commitment that you have is getting this lesson plan submitted, because that's the nature of the grant. They want to see these lessons uploaded to the National Science Foundation website to showcase the grant. I mean, they have to show how the grant works and why the grant is being given. So if I go to Replit, Replit is an online IDE, and it's actually one of the few online ones that will run the GUIs. So the graphical user interfaces they don't really work in a console. So this one is powerful enough to actually run it. Unfortunately, this is the free version, so it's a little bit slow. They don't give you all of the power of their servers because of the free one. But anyway, it still works. So at least you can get an idea. And this is my application uploaded to Replit. And it's simply, the link is on there, it's just simply www.replit.com. And you can log in with Google or Facebook, I think. It doesn't load with Microsoft, so I had to use my Google account, even though Washoe isn't allowed to use Google. We're a Microsoft district. So this is the program there. You have to upload your images, though, to this one here, to their server. So if I browse there, it's going to go to a makeshift kind of a phantom file folder right here. So let's see, my mouse isn't really working that good here. I think the network's maxed out here. Okay, I just lost it. Okay, let me move it over here. I'm going to change my share here. So just a moment here, I'm going to stop the share and see if I can get this working. Okay. To get off this page. Sorry about that. Okay, let me try it again. Okay. Well, I think our bandwidth is maxed out. Okay. Well, let's stop that. Before I forget, I'm going to put the website in the chat so you guys can look at it and get more information on this program. Okay. So that's takes you directly to my webpage that I made for the University of Nevada Research Experience for Teachers in Cybersecurity. And let me give you a few moments to go ahead and navigate that. Maybe when you go to Replit, if you want to check out the application, it will play for you. There's no login or anything like that you should have to do. Are there any questions before I let you loose to check things out there on the website?
Yeah, Rob, can you just quickly share like what libraries you used in Python? Did you use OpenCV as the base for?
Oh yeah, sure. Let me go ahead and open the program and I'll share that with you. Yeah, we used OpenCV for the image, and we used Pill as well. Pillow is what we used as well. Okay, let me get that loaded. Sorry, my computer is just also only 4 gigs of RAM. It's very limited with all this stuff going on. Let me get the file here. So you can see the script here. And let me make sure it's sharing. Okay, it wasn't sharing. Can you see that? Scott, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so if you see here, I'm importing. Oh, I forgot. It was a few months ago. So our first couple of iterations of the application were actually using OpenCV, but then we switched to Pillow and Torch. It worked better with the with some of the biometric functions, is why we did that. OpenCV though does have a lot more of the what you call it, the image modifier, so like the blur and the color change and that sort of thing. It had, unfortunately, these other jitter and that don't have as many of the different kind of ways to modify the image. OpenCV is better for that, but this worked better for the biometric program that it talks to. So I import that. That one's from, we call it MLM Utils is the name of the biometric file that we use. So it imports that to verify the face. And then if anybody's interested in this program, I can send that too. This is I consider my final iteration of what I did. And as you can see here, it's all based on PySimple GUI. So that script is all using the GUIs for that. Just it makes the application more fun. Unfortunately, it's made it really hard to run on computers. Python is just not very easy to convert to executables and that sort of thing. I've had a heck of a time with that. Console programs are really easy to convert, but this GUI one, there's just not a lot of support for it. Makes the files really huge and cumbersome and clunky. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. And the PhD candidate at UNR is trying to figure it out. We're all trying to figure out a better way to do it. But anyway, that's what we got. It's not like Java where you can make applications a lot easier to run on the executables on a computer. That's one of my beefs with Python. It's great for number and data science and that sort of thing, but for straight up recreational type apps, it's really hard. So that's that in a nutshell. Any other questions on that? So just to make it clear, it's not just programming, it's cybersecurity. So they kind of fit all kinds of things there. It's kind of funny because one of the Dr. Dave Filescipher, the one that looks like Carl Urban, the co-grant guy, he's actually a robotics professor and doesn't know a whole lot about cybersecurity. And there's actually a RET program that's totally different grant, different department that does robotics in the summer, and it's a research experience for teachers, just a totally different program and grant, a different professor in charge of that. And I asked him, how come you're not part of that? He goes, well, I don't know. But the cybersecurity is cool because it's kind of well-rounded. You can do a little robotics, you can do a little bit of smart city, you can do forensics. The kids dig the forensics, I was told, because we had a teacher there that teaches actual cybersecurity at Carson High School. And he says the kids really get into it. So, and then there's a programming bit. Smart city is mostly networking. Mr. Clark at North Valleys High School actually is a Cisco certified instructor. So he's been happy to, under his wing, you can sign up with him and take the whole course if you wanted. He's got kids that come out of high school that, get good paying Cisco jobs right out of high school. So anyway, it's just a wonderful program. If you enjoyed college, it's kind of a way to go back to college and get paid for it. Are there any other questions, or if not, I can put my email. Let me put my email in the chat. So if you have any further questions about something, just let me know. Of course, if we have people that are interested in the program, it'll be more successful. And we are pretty confident that it's going to get renewed. Professor Shimik Sugumta is the head professor at UNR, and part of this, he's been doing this for 12 years, and he's very confident it's going to get renewed. It's just, since it's a new grant cycle, it's not posted yet. So like if it, for example, this year, it may not come out until May or something like that, where usually you get notified in January. So if when it gets renewed, like next year, the second year, it'll last should be 6 years. It'll be posted earlier. So if you're not available this summer, think about it the next year. The two people that I was with in the biometric section were actually, this was their second or third time. I think I think Miss Kelly was there. I think this was her second one. And I think Dan was, I think it was his third time there. So you can also repeat it too, if you're interested. So you can try other things in there. So it's an amazing program. It was one of the most fun professional experience I've ever had. Let's see, let me get to the chat. I'm going to stop sharing that. Go back to the chat. I'm going to put my email in here. So you're welcome to email me if you have any more questions. And there's that. And did that go through? Yeah, that should have gone through. Let me make sure it's right. Yep. Okay. And of course, my email's on my website too. I believe I put my website. Yeah, my website is there as well in the link. And it's just a subpage of our Washoe County website there. So thank you, those that joined me. I really appreciate it. I hope you're interested in this program. It's $8,000 plus $2,000 classroom stuff. I bought some tank robots. I bought what is it, BB-8 robot. I bought all kinds of little microcontrollers and that for the kids. So it's a really amazing program. I'm going to go ahead and sign off so you guys can take a break or navigate the site some more. And I encourage you to email me, or if you have any more questions later on, if you're looking at the site. That site's kind of busy and cumbersome, so it might be confusing for you. So just don't hesitate to reach out. Are there any questions before I sign off? In the chat?
Thank you so much for your time and sharing that. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah. So I'll stay on for another minute in case somebody thinks of a question. I'm looking at the chats there to make sure that I didn't miss a question here.
Did you say there was a Replit where we can try that Doppelganger software?
Yes, it's if you go to click on my website in the chat, it's, you see the UNR right next to it, it says Replit, and then under there are the links. There's the UNR RET site in the blue.
UNR RET cybersecurity, that over here? Replit.
And the one below it, my Python program on Replit. Click on that, should bring you right to it. It might work better for you.
Yeah, that's it.
You got it?
How does this work? I mean, it takes two faces and compares like a percentage of similarity.
Well, what it does is it independently works. So you could have just one image there, but I put two because I want to do the doppelganger. So I load the images independently first, and then I have distortions. And we're not using OpenCV for that. You can, they have a lot more options of distortions. So I had a better option of loading the biometric program with the doppelganger using Pillow and Torch. Torch is needed to convert it into a file structure that the biometric program can read. That's what Torch is for. So there's a lot of conversions going on. That's why it's kind of slow. And then what it does is that after it verifies that the independent images, it actually will then, when I click the doppelganger, then it talks to both files and sees if they think it's the same person. And as you noticed, Dr. Dave Filescipher and Carl Urban look alike. The computer thinks they're the same person, and Chris Pine and William Shatner. I did load the other one. You probably saw the images of Trump there, looking like what was his name? Clifton, Tony Clifton from the Andy Kaufman show. And he had glasses on. It was the same guy with glasses on, and that's why we think it's the eyes, because if you put sunglasses on it, it messes up the biometric program. It can't really read it. So we think it focuses on the eyes.
Well, I mean, at some point you had all those facial recognition softwares were able to identify you above your mask for 2 years, right? So
yeah, exactly.
The top of your face is probably the most important, right?
Exactly. And Nate Tom, the research PhD candidate there at UNR, is working on irises as a subset of the facial recognition, because irises is different as fingerprints and DNA. And then also we actually had another group, undergrads there, doing their research experience from other colleges, one from the University of Pennsylvania and one from, I think, a school in California or something. And they were actually working on gender. And I think that this program actually can recognize gender a little bit. Because I compared my boss to a female actress that has the same eyes as he does, and it came out false. But they were trying to perfect gender identification. So if somebody is a real gender bender, they're trying to develop a software that will identify whether they're male or female.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Okay. So image. Okay. It finally loaded. It took a minute, but now it's up.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
see
it's
it.
the free one is, and then of course we've got Zoom going on and all this other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. No, it's up now. I see it. Everything's working. So I just load in 2 images, and I got like a Dennis Quaid in high school thing. I don't know if I still like him, but
Oh yeah, I can see that now. I see what you're saying. Unfortunately, this one won't, I don't think will let you load your own images, but I could send you the file and you can run it through your Python interpreter, and then you'd have access on your computer.
bro. Okay, I see browse. You've only got, if I'm browsing for something.
It's locked in the system. They don't want people uploading stuff just random off the website. You'd have to go into log into Replit, and then I think you might be able to tweak it.
So this is, in this one, did you compare Dave with Alien? Is that how you did this?
No, I compare Dave with Carl Urban, the actor from Star Trek and The Boys.
Okay.
I think that was in there.
Verify image 1.
Yeah, James, you just have to change from PNG when you're loading a file, just change it to all files.
Yeah, sorry about that.
JPEGs
Yeah,
as well.
all files.
I got you. Verify image 1. Okay, so there is Dave. And then I go down to image 2, right?
Yeah, it should be Carl JPEG.
Where is it? Oh, PNG, all types. Gotcha. There's Carl JPEG. Gotcha. Open.
And then I compared it to Dave Pong.
Okay. And now how do I? Yeah. That's impressive.
Then you gotta load it.
I loaded it. It's there. So I've got him in image 1, verify image 2. Do I have to click verify image first?
Then you have to browse image 2 and then pick your second image and then load it.
So
And
I've
then
got
you don't
these
have to
two. I got
verify.
image. I
I'm sorry?
verified it. I
Yeah, just-
verified it.
And then you click on Doppelganger if you want to check the. if they
Oh,
look
gotcha.
alike.
Right
Yeah.
over here. I'm just panning around to find these buttons, but I see it now. There's a doppelganger button. And
Yeah, it's a little bit busy. Sorry about that.
where's my results?
Kind of a
Where does
busy
it tell me?
Right next to the Doppelganger button, there should be a output
Oh, it says
field.
true. True,
Yeah.
right there.
So it's just Boolean, true or false.
Boom. Wow. Very nice. Cool. That's awesome. That's good.
Thank you. Yeah. So that was a fun way to get paid and learn something this summer. I mean, heck, usually we have to pay to take a course, or at best it's free, but to get paid thousands of dollars, I was like, dang, that's pretty good for us poor teachers, you know?
The dollars, man, I don't get paid thousands of dollars at my first job.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, wow, $1,000 a week, essentially for a 6-hour workday. It's not bad.
And this is your final. You had to come up with a final project kind of situation.
That's the big commitment, is that lesson plan. So that the poster I briefly showed you was just kind of my plan of what I'm going to teach the kids. So I've got to actually teach the lesson, and then the professors are going to come watch me next month or in April.
Yeah.
So I'm going to run the lesson. They'll check it out. They'll see that I taught the lesson, and then tweak it or whatever it needs to be, you know, how we do formative assessment, all that good stuff. And then finalize it. And then I submit it to the National Science Foundation I think it's called Teach Engineering website, which is a subset of the National Science Foundation. And then they weren't clear. They've already paid me the $1,000 for it. So I guess I'm good, whether they accept it or not. So it's not It's like getting published. It's not like guarantee, oh, you uploaded a lesson, it's published. They could send it back. You might have to do a tweak here and there, that sort of thing. So that part I haven't experienced yet.
Gotcha.
So we'll see how that goes. That's the only stressful part, is making this lesson plan and teaching it. But otherwise, it was pretty easy money.
Oh. Yeah, I see you got some Scratch and Code HS. I teach all that stuff. I don't know at
Cool.
what level, probably not as high as you are teaching. Oh, I don't teach Python yet. We're teaching JavaScript with Carol.
Oh, okay. The reason why I'm teaching the Python is because I'm teaching 8th grade,
Okay.
and there's something called the credit by exam for that half credit of computer usage that you have to have to graduate high school. So these kids, if they do well in my class, I'll let them sit for that exam, and the language that's featured on the exam is Python.
Okay.
So I
That's
screwed up.
nice. Python's much nicer to start with, to write and all that.
Yeah, it's cleaner to write, except the
Yep.
indentations drive us nuts, because it drives me nuts. Oh, I indented the wrong one. It drives them nuts too. They don't even like to indent for their writing, let alone for programming.
Well, even in the JavaScript, it'll scream at you if it's not indented. And I say, well, that's, they just want you to write clean code. It wouldn't actually affect your code.
Oh,
Eventually,
yeah,
you're going to
yeah.
minify it anyway, and it's all going to get smushed. So it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
yeah.
no, Python's cool. I just don't know as much about it as I do JavaScript. So,
I mean, it's a good science language. As I said, it is kind of a pain to get it to build an app. Like this app that I have is a graphical user interface, and it's just so hard to get it. I've got it running on this computer, but my Mac, I'm still trying to get it to work on my Mac. It won't run for something's not working on that. I'm still trying to figure that out. And then, of
so you
course,
just do what? What kind of? I looked at this before, because when I had kids that were too advanced or way beyond, like they just blew through Code HS, and I tried to get a standalone version so they could build games on the computer. What do you use for that? So I'm confused by this, because JavaScript is a browser or Electron or whatever, but I just don't know about Python. What do you use for a standalone desktop application where you just run games building Python?
That's the problem. That's the frustration, is that they have terminal blocked on the kids' computers.
Right.
And I'm using Visual Code Studio.
Okay.
And I could have sworn I had it working, but maybe I didn't. But now it wants to run that terminal, and it's blocked, so it won't run. So that.
I remember I had to get in, and I had to go
in
in and break in as a teacher and install these things. But then the kids had to run it. I mean, the permissions it was just, I'm like,
it's frustrating.
Dude, learn JavaScript and program in your browser. It's almost like that. That's how I feel. But I like Python. I mean, writing Python's nice, but running it, I don't know.
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to work on. And Replit is approved by my district for high school, but I'm in the middle school, so it's it's frustrating. And I've got the free version of Code High School. Supposedly Washoe was in the process of purchasing that, but they haven't.
Oh, I've never been at a school that ever purchased that. But it's such a pain to grade. But it's a nice thing. It's a nice platform.
It's expensive though for the professional version. $5,500 they wanted for just me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I heard. I thought it was like 10,000 for a site license, but nobody would ever put up the money for that. So we never use the pro version.
What district are you from?
Well, I was at Clark County up until this year. Now I'm at a private school, so none of that really matters. But
yeah, that would be expensive for a private school.
And they won't pay for it either.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But actually, the head of my department, I don't know if you know Mr. Julian Jackson. He's we're kind of porting it all into coding rooms. You ever heard of coding rooms? You can build anything in there. You can bring any platform, code.org, code HS, into coding rooms. Set up your own like regex expression testers to see if the kids have included certain things in their code.
Yeah.
And just build. You can build books with chapters that way. It's really
Wow.
I mean, it's intimidating when you just want to plan a lesson for next week. But if you take a summer to learn it, I think it could be your go-to place.
So
and I think it's free. Codingrooms.com. .org, I don't know, but he's got an organization that he brought all his teachers into, coding rooms.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and it's like it could be a home base where you pull in lessons from every other resource that you use, kind of
Huh.
thing.
Coding
You know?
rooms.
Are
Okay.
you looking right at it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just talking about because kids are about to get into 9 weeks
Sweet. That looks
of
pretty.
there's a bit of a learning curve, but he has done it. I mean, he's a genius anyway. And I just kind of like, well, show me how you do everything, but he knows how to do a lot now. He knows how to, he knows how to
Okay, I
check
put
for
it in the chat.
expressions based on just regex stuff.
Cool.
You know, so you have a for loop, so you can put in. They had to include a for loop with some parentheses or whatever. If it's not in there, it says you completed the challenge, but you didn't use a for loop. So you can be very, very fine grained.
Oh, okay. So it looks
kind
at
of
the
thing.
syntax and the semantics too.
Yeah,
That's
all based on regex stuff and whatever
Okay.
language, I guess.
cool.
Just interesting.
I'll check that out. Yeah, there's so much stuff out there. It's dizzying.
Are these Scratch tutorials? Are these things that you did yourself?
I'm sorry.
The Scratch tutorials, are these like projects you
Oh
created
yeah,
yourself?
I'm sorry. I was going. Where'd you see that? Oh yeah, that's on my main page. Yeah, we started with at the beginning, first quarter. We messed around with Scratch. We did a lot of it last year too. But this year I learned more about what's on that credit by exam. So the kids were kind of screwed last year because I did JavaScript, not Python. I was like, oh great, glad to know that now. So at least they'll be better prepared this year, the ones that take the test. So now plenty of Python, so they should pass that part for sure.
Yeah, this is awesome. I like this. This is a great page. Cool.
Thank you.
I'll stop hijacking your time. Thanks for the info.
Oh, no worries. Thank you for attending. I hope you check out that program. It's 10 grand.
Yeah, I will. I will do that. Thanks.
Uh-huh. Any questions from anyone else before I sign off? And I put the link for coding rooms on the chat too, for anyone else wants to check it out. And I'll be checking that out myself pretty soon here. Thank you for sharing. Cool.
And I'll just remind everyone to make sure you complete your session evaluation that you can access through Canvas so that you get credit for being here if you are hoping for your professional learning certificate today.
Cool. Thank you for reminding them, because I forgot.
Where do we get session evaluation? Oh, got it. Thanks.